Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Coots.
And I'm Tank.
Thank you for tuning in for another edition of This or That.
Movies.
Oh, yeah. These are two classic third parts of the film franchise.
The third of a trilogy.
Yeah,
It's
the
going to
third
tear
of a
my
trilogy.
brother up. My youngest brother, these are two of his three favorite movies of all time.
Oh, yeah? And so we're going to go pit up Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade versus Back to the Future Part 3. And these are both... So
I love these. Honestly, to this moment, I have not made my choice.
These are
I
two,
really don't know.
I love both of these ones so damn much. And Back to the Future is my favorite trilogy of all time. And I do love the Indiana Jones franchise. I love the character of Indiana Jones. And I have the introduction of his father, finally, and all the stuff. And yeah, to this
Sean
one... This
Connery's
one,
amazing.
Yeah,
like, it's
this one
so
is so
tough.
This one is a hard pick
This
for
one
me.
is really hard. These two, like I said, they're my... Whenever it was Cam's turn to choose the movies, it was usually the top three choices on that list were The Rocketeer, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, and Back to the Future Part 3. So this is gonna, like, if he had to choose one or the other, I think I know what he'd choose, but I'm not. It's a tough one. I really I appreciate Back to the Future Part 3 as an independent movie, but it works into the trilogy so well.
Right.
And Indiana Jones, it's not really the same kind of a timeline as Back to the Future.
No,
Temple of Doom was a prequel to Raiders of the Lost Ark, but Raiders of the Lost Ark came out first, then Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, then Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Is that one of your
and
favorite?
For me, in that Indiana Jones trilogy, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade is my favorite. Like the King Richard with the Holy Grail at the end, you chose wisely.
Like that,
you chose poorly. And
that
you're like,
scene is still awesome. All of the scenes in this film, the special effects were so good in this.
Very high up on my bucket list is to go to that ancient city in Petra, Georgia.
Right,
I very much want to go there.
Just to see the outside.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I'm not gonna lie. When Sean Connery his dad gets shot, but you know. I don't care how many times I've seen it, it makes me tear up every time.
Really?
And
that one, I'm super emotional. I cried everything, and I don't cry that.
No, that one?
That's interesting.
But not until I had kids. So as soon as I had children, it made me go, bang, and I'm like, and it makes me like not cry, but definitely choke up.
Huh.
Like, and he's like, Dad! Like that moment where sorry, that's a little more Keanu than
I was like,
sorry.
Yeah.
That was, can you picture Keanu Reeves as Indiana Jones?
No. Moving on.
My name's Indy. I'm sorry. But with that, I think that moment where he gets shot, like you see the emotions there, even the whole time it's kind of like, oh, thanks, Dad, whatever. That moment is, it's just so tough. But the Back to the Future 3 thing, especially when
This is why we started laughing earlier, because I said, I'm like, we always try to think of like what battle it is, and it's a battle of the third in each of the trilogies.
Right.
But we're like, I said it made us laugh. We're like Battle of the Sand movies.
Right.
Like it's a pretty like old western, like dusty,
Dust Bowl.
Dust Bowl, and like there's a lot of sand in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. So
you see the time machine get destroyed, and like you think that the doc's gone, and that.
Yeah.
That's the end of the trilogy for me.
Love that sniper rifle he made.
Yeah.
That was dope.
And the soundtrack is great.
He's a blacksmith. That was cool. Like Mad Dog Tandem was awesome. My parents also called me Mad Dog for
I'm still struggling with this trilogy. The pick my 3.
It's tough. It's a tough one.
For me, and I'm gonna kick myself in the ass no matter which one I pick.
Yeah, you are. I thought about that too. I'm like, I'm going to feel bad about whatever I choose.
I'm going to go with Back to the Future 3.
I'm going to go with Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Yeah, I'm going to...
Because here's why. I'll tell you why. I'm going to go with Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade because Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade is my favorite of those three movies. I like it better than Raiders of the Lost Ark. I like it better than Temple of Doom. Last Crusade is my favorite of those three. Whereas I would probably say... Now, I love all three Back to the Futures. And I would say they probably go in order from, I like Back to the Future 1, the original, the most. Then probably 2, I like the Future 1, I enjoyed that. And then probably 3, but it's like, out of 100, it would be like 99, 98.5, and 98. They're right there with each other. But Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade is of all 6 of those from the trilogy, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade is my favorite of the Indiana Jones side.
Right.
And Back to the Future Part 3 is probably my third favorite of the three, so I'm going to choose Indiana Jones: The Last Crusade because of that. It had Nazis, it had, like, it's just action-packed movie, like, the whole time through that whole movie.
Yeah,
Sean Connery killed it. And also another one, but two things from that movie are on my bucket list. One is is it the Lost City or whatever it's called? It's not the Lost City, but it's the in Petra, Jordan, where it's carved into the side of a mountain. And the other one is Utah at the beginning of the movie, back when Indy was a kid.
Oh, yeah.
And it was River Phoenix playing him. Those, like, the mountains, that nature in Utah is amazing. We live in Nevada, and it's great here too. But, like, if you want to see some amazing untouched stuff, go to Utah. Yeah. And it's gorgeous, and I really want to explore those areas. I haven't explored very much in northern Utah, so I'd love to go up there and see that because that's on my list as well. But it's Last Crusade for me. Back
to the Future 3. It's hard, but I'm gonna go Back to the Future 3.
But why? Like, what is the thing that?
It's just the type of my favorite trilogy of all time. It's the end of it. Like, for me, to actually wrap everything up, the way they put everything together.
They did wrap it up in a nice little bow, right?
Right.
They did.
You know,
they did
a lot
a
of
really
days,
good job of ending
the last thing that Doc says is, your future's what you make it. It's like, oh my god,
I'm making a good one,
right? Yeah. So it, like,
thanks, Christopher Lloyd. Like, I was so excited.
It all just like ties together, and like, for me growing up,
I get it
throughout the whole thing. The end of the trilogy, and they show clips from the other films.
I'm telling you, later on, I'm going to be like, man, I should have picked Back to the Future 3.
Like, there's going to be like, I should have been like Indiana Jones.
Man, I love Indiana Jones: Last Crusade. It's so easy to do that. But thanks so much for joining us for another edition of This or That
Movies.
Please like and share and comment on this video. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Radio Rhapsody with Coots and Tank, and also our Facebook page, Radio Rhapsody with Coots and Tank.
I'm Coots.
And I'm Tank, and we'll see you next time, kids.
Peace.